right. Hello, everybody. We are going to see if all is well. I think it is, in terms of sound and all of that. Yep, there we go. Good. All right. Hi, everybody. We had a time. Okay, live from Denver. It is Friday night. And we are here. Hey, everybody. So, man, the logistics setup nightmare for the last hour. It has been a nail biter. Making sure we were going to be able to do this show and go live here with you guys. This is Mel's laptop. That's why you see Mel laptopless, because my laptop decided in literally the last hour to blow up. I had, and I'm just gonna moan and complain about it because that's what I like to do, and I'm in a mood to do that. So you're gonna hear about it. My laptop, which is not a cheap one, warranty went out a month or two ago, and then suddenly, boom, right? Power problems, et cetera, et cetera. And what was really stupid about it is I actually had everything all set up this week so that everything would be run from the laptop. So I would have everything all controlled from here rather than from my desktop computer, which you guys don't see over there behind the camera. But it was going to help with some of the cordage and some of the other issues here in this space. But anyway, now I have to work that off. Yeah, my laptop got old, and that's right. And that's actually kind of, what we're talking about this week. Now, it looks like we have worked out the call-in line and everything on this computer. Everything should be good. So, and in fact, it looks like, oh, good. Yeah, we have a call coming in right now, saying the queue. So we will take that in just a moment. But we have our usual little intro things to get to first. So obviously, I am joined by my beautiful wife, Melissa.
Hello, hello.
And she is definitely a calming influence. Helpful for sure, 10,000%. I am difficult to calm sometimes when I get a little... Okay, so let's see. Also, we have 7cam, and it has been too long for you guys. So let us... Now, I had to sneak behind the couch on the floor, get that camera in there in order to get him. That's where he likes to situate himself sometimes. Our little bundle of fluffy love.
Yep, and there's his little basket of toys behind him.
That's right. That's right. We have that in the corner. And
he used to play with all of them. Now that he's old himself, not as many.
Right. Exactly. Our little guy there. So that's our first check-in with Seven, the Wonder Cat there. And yeah. I thought, well, Mel and I comment on age often.
True.
And neither one of us are old. Neither one of us are at all in a classification. Oh, thank you, Alex, for that super chat. Very much appreciate that. Yeah, I'll definitely get some Coke with that. Neither one of us are old, and we totally appreciate that. We both know I'm 51, and she is a certain age.
I'm 39.
And all I can say is that what happens is you start noticing as you get older that your body just ain't down for doing what it used to do. Mm-hmm. And the difficult part for me, and this is just one aspect of what I wanted to talk about this week with this, but that may be the most obvious aspect of it first, is my mind keeps thinking I'm 20. And my body keeps reminding me, maybe not.
You're not 20.
Yeah, maybe not, right? And this was best demonstrated this week with, oh, wow, thanks, Jerry, for that super chat. Awesome. Oh. This week, I went to the grocery shopping. This is a body that has been used. I'm not big. I'm not like muscular or anything like that, but I have been in some pretty rough physical circumstances, 3 years of hard physical labor on the RPF, all that crap. A lot of Sea Org, work, etc. And I'm used to throwing my body around. I'm used to it being in some kind of shape. and I'm used to that, right? But as I get older and fluffier, that's not necessarily the case. But up here, I'm still, this young spring chicken. So this week, of course, like for example, you're tracking, Alex. Yes, Amanda, it's totally fine that you call. In fact, thank you for doing that because I need to get that word out there about that. What happened was I'm trying to go up the stairs. We live on the 3rd floor. And there's no elevator. And yeah, I'm a stupid idiot for doing that. But we're on the 3rd floor.
I thought it was going to just get better over time or something.
Yeah, I was silly. So, you got to bring the groceries up, right? So I got my case of Coke because that's, buy in bulk, it's cheap. And I had 2 of them. And I used to be able to carry one under each arm. No problem. I used to be able to do that. And I get up to the 2nd floor and my body's like, nah, we're done. We are absolutely positively done.
This isn't happening anymore.
Yeah, this is not happening. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I got to put one down, bring the other one up, etc. You guys get the idea. If you keep doing what you did when younger, I don't think your body knows what age it is. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I wish that were true. I wish that were true, but it is not. So... yes, exactly. Now we've got a couple calls in the queue, so we're going to go ahead and get to those. And the number, by the way, is 984-214-4154. And while our theme is getting older, and I have more to say on this because I actually did some a Twitter poll and I did some other stuff in prep for this, so we got some things to talk about with this. But let's see what you guys want to talk about too. Now we're going to take them in order. So our first call is Liz, and I'm picking that up now. Hello, Liz.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm an old person, so that's part of it. But I have old stuff too. But I watched something yesterday, and I wasn't sure if you've ever seen it or.
Oh, yeah.
It's on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
It's a documentary called Sons of Sam, and it follows this reporter who actually was following the story all along because he never believed, and even Berkowitz himself said he didn't do it alone.
Did he?
Huh.
Did he? And you were not, and Berkowitz wasn't talking about his dog.
He was not talking about the dog.
Okay, good. I'm just joking. I know a little bit about the Son of Sam case. I've read some stuff up on it, and didn't he eventually recant the whole thing with the dog?
Oh no, he didn't recant anything.
Oh, he didn't.
He pled guilty. He admitted doing it. He's just said he wasn't alone.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So he not for 1 second, didn't take back what he said about doing it. He just said there were more people involved.
Okay, got it. Well, the reason I ask about the recant or the gotcha is, did you see another Netflix series, Mindhunters?
Yes.
So
I love that show.
Right. So Son of Sam was in there, right? And they kind of, in that one scene, sort of maneuver him. So.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I was thinking.
So no, that was with the Mindhunter guy. This is with this reporter,
right?
Which was the only guy who really had, besides the FBI guys, had access to him. Anyway, I'm just watching this thing. It's going along, and it's got 3 parts. And halfway through the 2nd part, they bring up the Church of Scientology.
They do.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now
do.
Now let me tell you, 5 minutes before we sat down to start prepping for the show was the first time I saw a Netflix preview for Sons of Sam. So I just heard about this show, and then you're calling in about it. So that's what's so funny to me right now. And then the fact, because we talked about it, and then Scientology's in it. What? What is this?
Scientology. Well, I mean, the people that Hubbard hung out with before. The sick guys that, the evil people he was. So he's kind of a sick dude. So these people, this is in England in like 1963. But even to them, Scientology is not weird enough for them. So they go to the top of Scientology and they say, look, we're going to go start our own thing. And it's called the Process Church of, I can't remember what it was.
Okay, I've read about this. The Process
And
Church,
then
yeah. I know a little bit about this.
They show a film clip of Charles Manson talking about going to the Church of Scientology because it would help keep them sharp. And then he says, and then we, went and joined the process, which is the sick people, the occultist people. And then from there, like, it takes its twists and turns, and by the time it gets to Berkowitz, which is not that many years later, because that's only 1972, 1974. I was a kid. I lived in New Jersey, so I lived with this. So I was so, fascinating to me because I lived through it.
Right.
And so it went from being, Scientology, not to say that there's any connection between Scientology now and those people, because they made a break from them and whatnot, but and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is what was like freaking me out. I'm like going, no. But this guy, and then there's like this surprise. I won't tell you. There's a surprise thing that they tell you at the end that really makes you scratch your head and go, wow. But you're gonna love it.
Okay, good. Well, you've sold me. I wasn't gonna watch it, but now I am. So. You got me. I'm going to tell you straight up, I am very skeptical about conspiracy theories about the process and Son of Sam that I've seen so far. But
you're right.
I'm willing to look. I'm willing to look. So
I don't necessarily buy a hook, line, and sinker, but like I said, you kind of look at it and you go, huh.
Yeah.
It makes, there's. They walk through all the things, and it's very eerie. Like I said, I don't get it. I'm a little old for that kind of stuff, but it's just there's just thing after thing after thing after thing, and then why won't the cops listen? Well, because overnight the cops shut the whole thing down. They caught a guy, they put him in jail. New York City's happy again, and they like the cops.
Yeah, well, and then the killing stopped too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
So there was that.
So you never know.
No, totally, totally. I don't mean to give you a hard time. I'm just saying. It's,
no.
Yeah.
No, you always need to look at two sides of things, and it's always good to have a discussion from different perspectives in order to find.
Exactly. Well, cool. Well, hey, thanks for calling in and suggesting that. Like I said, it's just serendipity that we just saw the preview for that.
Yeah.
So I will check it out. I'll let you and give you a call next week. We'll talk about it some more.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
You guys have a great night, okay?
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Cool. All right. Now we're going to go right on to this next call. Now, this is not on the show topic at all, but it was something I was going to bring up in the show this week. It's a friend of mine. Her name is Amanda, and she is on the line right now, and she is a YouTube content creator. She has worked for NASA. She is really into climate and climate science, and she also has a little bit of a personal situation right now, and she is doing a GoFundMe, which I am trying to support, and so we're going to talk to her on the line here. So let me pick this call up. Hi, Amanda.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Sometimes my phone is wonky and, no electricity and all. So thank you, Chris, so much for having me do this. I promise I won't take up that much time just explaining really quick the situation. Is that okay?
Absolutely. That is why you are here. Please tell us what's happening.
All right, awesome. So I'm Pale Blue Mama, formerly known as Mama Atheist, but my friends, my closest friends here, like Chris, they just know me as Amanda. and I am a single mom to a 17-year-old. Almost 5 years ago, my son and I moved here to Georgia from Tucson in order to take care of my ailing parents. My father has heart problems. He has early onset dementia. My mother has a multitude of problems. She has problems breathing and heart problems, and she's had cancer and all sorts of stuff. It's been a mess.
Yeah.
In fact, she had a stroke a few years ago that, you know, I was here for, and she would have died had I not been here. She's had some falls. She broke her hip a few months ago. But yeah, so that's what I did, because I have two older brothers, but it's the daughter's duty to do this. Plus, I'm the only one that's not married. So I
Right.
came here. And like Chris said, I'm a climate scientist, so I at least was able to find work online to be able to work and do this as well. However, in the time I've been here, I have put all of my money into their medical bills and this house, and I have nothing. My father has always been pretty abusive to me since I had my son out of wedlock. He's been really awful, including physical abuse. In fact, when I was 7 months pregnant with my son, he held me out of a second-story window to threaten me. Like,
Wow.
it's just, yeah.
Wow.
The mental abuse is really bad. He still hits me and stuff. He's a 6'4" Dutchman. He's a big dude. And then almost 3 weeks ago now, or actually I should say, since I got sick, I have been ill. I haven't been able to do that much for them. So they pretty much see me as useless. And since then, he has been trying to drive me out of the house without actually physically throwing me out. A few weeks ago, he actually shut off the electricity to the upstairs. We live on the second floor, they live on the first. So he shut off the electricity to everything but my son's room. So I've had no, I've been trading off with my phone and my laptop and charging it secretly in my son's room, but he will even shut off his electricity during the day when my son's at school, so I can't use that either. He shut off the air up here this past weekend, and like I said, I live in Georgia, so that's not very comfortable. I'm sure if he could shut off the water, he would have by now. He's constantly threatening me with everything that he can. In fact, the other night I was kind of losing it, and I started crying, apparently too loud. And my son had come in my room and was holding me and keeping on in the pitch dark, because again, I have no electricity. My son was just holding me and patting my back, telling me it's going to be okay. And my father burst in the room and told me to, in front of my son, to come over here so I can punch you in the face.
Wow. Wow.
It's been like I'm when my son is at school, I've had to kind of like barricade myself in my room because I'm afraid of my father coming in. So I've had to put like chairs up against the doors. It's just really bad.
Yeah,
and
I get
my son
it.
and I are just trying to get out.
You have
all of our furniture.
Yeah, you have a plan here, yeah?
Excuse me?
You have an escape plan here.
Okay, yeah, we have an apartment already. We have it, you know, where we're going. We just have to sign the thing. My partner, Matt Pig, it put together a fundraiser for me and my son to be able, because we have literally no furniture. We have nothing. Like I said, so they Matt Pig put together a fundraiser to be able just for the bare minimum to get us out. So it's all set and ready to go. We just have to go.
Right, exactly.
Sorry, I rambled.
No, you didn't ramble it. No. You're fine. You're fine. You didn't ramble at all. I just wanted to, let people know that there is something we need their help with.
Yeah.
Right,
There's a reason I'm talking.
Exactly. So, yeah, you've definitely got a rough situation there, and I want to help you get out of it. So, if you could, in the, I hate to ask you to do this right now or get this done, and I will get this done after the show. I will put a permanent link in the description to the show. But because of the circumstances, I can't get to my Twitter account right now to throw the link up to your GoFundMe. But if you put that in the comments, I would like to get that promoted to everybody here. So now and in the future, immediate future, we can help you out.
I think I'm not modded on your channel. I would have to be modded to put the link up. Letting you know.
No, you're not, but I think you can still throw it in the comments. But I will get it. I will get this link found and up here in the next few minutes somehow, some way. So we will get that done. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Again, I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time, and everybody. I understand you don't know me or whatever. If you can, donate. If you can't, we're actually doing a 24-hour stream between a bunch of us creators channels that started on Mastix a few hours ago. Right now we're over at Junk Shop. Like, obviously don't come now. Stay and watch Chris because he's freaking amazing and so awesome. But when you guys are done, if you want to do this, the stream on a bunch of different channels will be going on until 5 p.m. tomorrow night.
Beautiful.
So find like me on Twitter or Chris on Twitter, and you'll find me and come watch because it's going to be. We're just having fun. It's not sad. I swear. I'm not going to ramble about this stuff anymore. Everybody's having a good time. So
good.
Chris, thank you. Like, seriously, you're one of my closest friends, and I am so grateful for just the friendship and the support you've shown me, let alone offering to do this for me. You're
absolutely
amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Amanda, for calling in and explaining the situation. And like I said, I'll get that link up there. So we will talk again soon, huh?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Great. Everybody have a good show. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Cool. All right. Now,
Wow.
Now we did have somebody on hold for a little while there, and I apologize that we had you on hold for a few minutes. So if you want to call back, that would be awesome. And I will take this next call in just a second, but I would like to. Well, I'm gonna get that link in the description. I gotta find it somewhere. Yeah, Craig on the comments there. This is definite need. I would not put this up on my show or ask you guys to listen to or be part of that. This is not something I'm going to be doing every other week or something like that. Amanda's in a very tough situation right now, and she's in a situation of abuse, and I want to help get her out of that. And that's what that's about. So, okay, and I can tell you from my own knowledge of her and what's going on there that is a real situation. It's not some distant person who just contacted me out of the blue somewhere. I've been on her show and etc. So, okay, so that is that, and all right, let's see what we got here. Mark.
I know you're getting old.
Yes.
You know you're getting old when you sit down and eat breakfast. You know, South Carolina pop haven't poured milk in Rice Krispies yet.
I want to hear you, but I can't. what did you say?
No, but you know you're getting old when you hear South Carolina pop. They haven't poured milk in the Rice Krispies yet.
Oh, yes.
That's so true.
For anybody there, you get old when you hear snap, crackle, and pop, and you have not put the milk in your Rice Krispies yet. Cute. How's it going, Mark?
You know you're getting old. All right.
Cool.
You also know you're getting old. Every place you go into, they ask you if you want the senior discount.
That's right. That's right. I'll be getting that in 3 years. Good times.
You also need to get hold of somebody comes up to you and asks me, you know how to read hieroglyphics.
Yes. Good one. Good one. Now, Mark, I'm going to ask you a question. Mark,
yeah?
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Did you get vaccinated?
A few days ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, nice.
Well done.
I spent I spent about 30 minutes in the throne room.
Yeah, I hear you. I get it.
You can have some side effects.
Yeah.
Your screen is frozen up. It's not freeze frame. I'm looking at your computer and the screen's frozen up.
Oh no, we're good. We're good over here. I think it's just. I think you're buffering there.
Maybe. Huh. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I'm using somebody else's Wi-Fi, so who knows?
Yeah, it's just buffering. No big deal. All right. Well, Mark, I'm going to let you go because I got another caller in the queue. But I'm very, very, very happy that you got vaccinated, man. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, man.
Okay.
Talk to ya.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Cool. I like Mark.
Yeah.
I know he's, I know some people think he's a crouchy old man, but I like him. All right, and I believe this is who I think it is.
Yeah, it must be Henny.
Hey, Henny.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Melissa.
Hello.
It's been a long time. How are you guys?
We're okay.
Okay.
We're okay. I mean, I was blowing off a little steam at the beginning of the show, but
Yeah.
otherwise things are going all right.
Good. How's the new home? Is everything falling into place?
Yes. Yeah. Things are getting more and more organized and set up here. When you can finally relax more than worry about all the boxes, things are probably going okay.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that. I'm glad that you're finally finding comfort in your new home.
Thank you.
And yes, it's very wonderful to hear you guys, really, and to listen to your show as always. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Amanda and send, well wishes and love her way. And I'll be waiting for the link.
Yeah, we'll get it up here.
Anyway,
I'm watching for it too. As soon as we can get it up there, I'll throw it in the comments, or I'll go searching for it. I just didn't want to disappear while I have to go log into Twitter and stuff, because that's going to be a little bit of a hassle for me from this computer.
That's understood, and we got everybody's back. The show is great, and we look out for each other. That's what this is about. I love your show.
Exactly.
I wanted to just tell you something quickly.
Yeah.
I of course I made a joke, about getting old. How I went to I pulled my back out wiping my ass. So
Yes.
that pretty much lets you know that you are old. I am old. Okay, but it's okay. I'm all good. I got myself together.
Hey, let me ask you. Let me ask you a
could make
question. Let me ask you a question, Henny, because I threw this out on Twitter, and I'm curious what you will say to this now that I got you on the phone. What?
Cool.
And I did a Twitter poll today, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But what would your 20-year-old self think about you now and your values, your life, your what? How would you look at yourself?
Gee, Chris, you don't ask an easy question, do you?
No.
You really always make me think. That critical thinking mind is always going. I would say my 20-year-old self would probably say, please be easy with yourself. You've made it. You come a long way despite everything that you went through. And you did what you had to do to get to this point. And you should be proud of yourself, even though you don't feel it, because you really, you've accomplished quite a lot. Insofar as being a good mother, being a good person, trying to help. So keeping a sense of humor. And that's probably what my 20-year-old self would say, because I'll tell you what, at 20, you don't feel the same way you do at 50, nor do you feel the same way at 70. I mean, it's just the way life is. Changes, continue on.
That's right.
But I would think, I mean, I'm sure I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but at least I've made it.
Exactly.
To be able to get this far.
That's right.
you know?
That's right. Well, I, for one, I'm glad you have. And two, I think that's a real positive outlook on that. I think that's great. You know?
Well, just two things, okay? One, how do you feel?
Who, me?
What would your 20-year-old self say?
Okay, well, I was gonna say so now that you've asked. I would hate myself. I am pretty sure. I thought about this and I thought, my 20-year-old self was so arrogant. I was so cocky. I was so sure that I knew all the important stuff already because of my Scientology, connection.
Upbringing, yes.
Yeah, and the upbringing, that's right. Because I was led to believe that this is how it is.
Yes.
It wasn't just me coming up with that on my own, right? And and here's why I say that I would have hated myself now is from the perspective of my 20-year-old self. Me now is somebody who is married, is out of Scientology, declared suppressive, married to a woman who has psych drugs, is taking psych drugs, right? Which is what we call them in Scientology, psych drugs. And as though it's some slur. And
you're not alone, Melissa.
and I smoke pot. I mean, there is nothing about myself that I would lie. You know what I mean? In terms of the important things, I'd be a disaster to myself. I'd be like, oh my God, that's what happens to me. So it would be kind of funny, I think, that way. But yeah, I had I was a whole different person when I was 20.
I think we all were.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what prompted me to ask the question. Was I thought, Jesus, I am so different, but I have the cult thing. Well, but what about everybody else? I'm sure everybody must go through this. So I wanted to find out, So that was actually how this whole show got started in the first place.
Well, I certainly, I hope you, rethink because, hating is such a strong word. I think we're taught to hate ourselves.
That's right.
And it's an unlearning. Yeah, it's a process of relearning how to love yourself.
Yeah.
It takes a lifetime. Takes a lifetime, especially when you're indoctrinated into believing that everything is your fault and, you're a bad person or, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So I would think you have really come so far, and I would be so proud to look, if I was you, at the person that you've become.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And really everything that you teach and the way that you help. And I guess it's all based on, what we learn and how we deal with it and what the outcome will be.
That's
right. But I certainly am very honored and pleased with your outcome.
Oh,
so
well, awesome.
I would hug your 20-year-old self because it made you the 51-year-old you are now.
Exactly. And to be clear, that hate's only one way. It's only coming from the 20-year-old because I look back at my life and, there are not regrets and there is not, oh my gods, and I don't hate who I used to be. I understand exactly why I was that way. It was, it was that person back then, 31 years ago, who was the intolerant, unaccepting, uncompassionate Scientology hardcore believer,
Well, I'm so glad you've matured.
Thanks.
You
Me
really
too.
have.
Thank you.
And I just want to say one more thing, and I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, what you got?
The phone, because your critical thinking has helped me so much, and I wanted to thank you so much. And I learned a life lesson that I'd like to pass on, and I learned it from your critical thinking.
Yes.
So I wanted to thank you first.
Okay.
What I learned, my life lesson was, I've learned because I've had a really tough time this year, along with I'm sure everyone else. But there was a lot of things that I suppressed, which we had touched on and whatever. But without going into a whole thing, my life lesson was, and I made up the phrase and I made up the whole feeling, and I call it psychological buttressing. And basically, Chris, what it is buttressing itself is, holding up. They used to use it back from the beginning of time when they were building steeples and temples. They would use wood plaques on each side to buttress the top, the heaviest point. And I've had a hard time emotionally, psychologically. So I've been calling on my friends and my family to buttress me as I'm falling, actually. And I call it psychological buttressing.
Nice. I
And
think that's a great
it really
term.
helps. Oh, listen, please feel free to use it. But it really helps when you feel like you're flowing and you know that you have your people, that are backing you and loving you and buttressing you so that you don't fall. And I want to thank my friends and family. I want to thank my critics and the people I've met on Twitter. And I want to thank you specifically for giving me the tools of critical thinking to even come up with such an idea.
Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for sharing that, because that's awesome. And I like that term. I'm gonna
that's a good term.
use that term if you don't mind.
You can certainly use it. I give you permission, just so long as you know that you really are you really helped me to come to that conclusion. And I hope that helps other people as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Henny.
Love you all. Have a great night, and I'll come back to listen to the great show.
Awesome. Talk to ya.
Okay, good. Good night, Melissa.
Good night.
Oops, cut her off a little bit there. All right, good. We have one other call. Now, I need to see
Should we
if...
see some 7 cam?
Oh, good idea. Yeah. 7 cam, there he is. Round 2.
Not changed too much. Because that's what he does, is lay around.
That's right. That's actually pretty much his full-time occupation, if we're really being honest.
I mean, he'll play with his toys a little bit. He's got 2 toys that he likes now, and he plays with those, but that's about it.
Right. I am going back here to find the link for Amanda. So I'm going to ask you guys to just be patient with me for a moment while I get this found. Let's see here. Somewhere in this.
Oh, he's just looking right at the camera.
Okay, well. All right, we're back. I will find this in a moment. We have another call to take in, and I want to not leave her on hold anymore. Hello, is this Christina?
Yes, this is. Hi, I'm sorry. You didn't have to do that. You could have found her link. It's fine.
No, please. I am happy to have you on the show. What's up?
I love this topic because, I'm a psychologist, and one thing that comes up a lot is, so I do like special education testing, and so I have to deal with like how the brain develops a lot and understand that. And what's interesting is that your brain really doesn't stop developing until like 21 roughly. So we get all these referrals for these kids. They're immature. They don't know how to plan their future. They're impulsive. They're this, they're that. And it makes me wonder, without teaching kind of some kids, we always talk about teaching them critical thinking or even teaching them some of these executive skills that I just mentioned. Could it foster more of an aligning when you get older? Like when you get older, maybe if you had those skills, you wouldn't have thought, oh, geez, I was a dumbass when I was younger. Because we all think that, you know what I mean?
Totally. And there's a whole load of hindsight bias going in on these evaluations we make of ourselves.
Yeah.
But that being said, and moving that out of the way, I think definitely if we could get critical thinking being taught more thoroughly, the how to think rather than what to think, in an applicable way, in an appropriate way at each grade level, because, obviously first graders are going to need, some pretty low level critical thinking stuff. I mean, we're going to have to, break it down that way, but I think it could be broken down that way. And I think it would make a significant difference.
Oh, yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
It won't.
Absolutely.
It certainly won't, though, negate or get in the way of anybody's hormones, or any of the other crazy that goes on in the teenage years. So I'm not sure that we can really eliminate the irrationality and crazy of our youth, but I think we can. I think we can help it.
Yeah,
Put it
that's
that way.
right. And the critical thinking activities for the younger kids are so cute. It's like they get to play a little detective of like, who stole my snack? Like in this situation, so they have to look at clues and figure out what's a belief and what's just a fact. So they're really sweet. But I agree with you. I also work in the middle school population, and you just can't fight the hormones that's going on, the development that's going on. And like I said, the brain is just simply underdeveloped. So
Exactly.
I never like to beat myself up too much when I read my old journals, and I was like, I hate my life and everything is so bleak and miserable, and I was so emo and had like the dark makeup and all that, because it's like, I think we all have that in a way, what you were saying, kind of that hindsight bias of, I wish I had thought differently. But I love this question, and I think it's a good question that adults can ask like kids and get them thinking about, like, kind of, well, what do you think about yourself right now, or what do you think you're going to be like in the future, that kind of thing. So
that's right. At least it gets the wheels turning in that direction. If somebody had, obviously, if somebody asked me when I was 20 where I was going to be when I was 50, my answer would have been incredibly different than the reality of the situation, but it still is a good exercise, I think, to kind of put yourself in the future a bit, and it might help give you some more direction in the present.
that's right. Awesome. Well, I won't take up too much more of your time, because I know you've had a lot of callers and you want to probably talk about.
Oh, no worries.
Topics.
I love talking to you guys.
And also, Chris, you shocked me when you said you were 51. You do not look 51. You really don't.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I shocked you. That's good news to me.
Yes. Awesome. Well, I hope you and Melissa have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you for the rest of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling in, Christina.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Good. So that is the calls in the queue right now. Again, call in line 984-214-4154 if you want to call in. Jerry, I want to thank you for that super chat. It was awesome. Thank you very much for that. I did not miss that. And okay, here it is. Here's the GoFundMe. I am now pulling it up and copying it. And nope, can I copy it? Is that what it copies it? No, I'm on a Mac.
Okay.
So how do I
highlight it again?
Highlight it up here?
And then do Command
wait.
C.
Yeah, but except I'm gonna have to click on it again because for some stupid reason. Okay, so Command C. Good. I know how to use a Mac. I swear. I swear.
And then Command V to paste it.
Command V. Hit return. Okay, so now you got a Melissa comment coming in there, guys, and that is the link to the GoFundMe. That should pop up at some point here. I'm just kind of watching to see if I'm going to have to approve it or not, but that should be there for Amanda's fundraiser. Now, that all being said, let me get off of that topic now. And, okay, we have another call in the queue, and I'm picking it up. Hello, Adria.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Well, I've been listening to the show, except I missed the first 5-10 minutes. Computer lag,
Sure.
internet stuff.
Cool.
So,
well, great.
Funny enough, Yeah. So funny enough, this topic is something I was discussing with my counselor this week.
Really?
So, yes, it came up towards the end of session, and yeah. So I know that I am not going to be considered old by basically anyone right now. I'm 37, and the thing is, and I didn't know about your question on Twitter, but I just found out about it in the show. My 20-year-old self would hate me because A, I managed to accidentally get injured, which took my life in a completely different trajectory. And my 20-year-old self would not have understood that. So, yeah. So I have not accomplished what I thought I would accomplish, but I realized that now I came from an area that was put a ton of pressure on academics, tons of academic pressure. And in school, we were sold on this notion that, you know, you go to school, you get your degrees, and then you go and you get a, you know, good paying job, and then you work the rest of your life, and that's the way the world is, and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but not really because your parents were able to get you in for education, but you know what I mean. It was that sort of mentality, upper middle class mentality.
Yeah.
And, you know, it dawned on me in counseling that, you know, I was sold a bill of goods. And I wonder how many other people have been sold a bill of goods. So they think that 40 is old if you haven't achieved all of your goals yet.
You know, that's a great point you just made. I want to stick on that for just a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think that's an incredibly important point.
So.
No, well, that's a great one to make. Thank you for calling in with that, because I think I just shared with Mel last week or something. I mean, there are a number of people, like a number of famous people, who never did anything of recognition or renown or fame or anything until after they were 50. You know? I mean, here's a stupid example, but it's the one that just occurs to me always off the top of my head. I think it was because one of the first ones I learned is Colonel Sanders. I mean, the chicken guy. He didn't even start that operation until after he was 50. You know, worldwide chain of chicken outfits, right? But he didn't get that going until later. Authors, poets, actors. You know, there's a number of people we really honor and pay a lot of attention to who didn't get anything done until after they were 40. So. Right.
Yeah. I've been noticing more and more people recently. Well, this past week, since after counseling, people getting their doctorates at 60, 70.
Yeah, why not?
And, you know, publishing and, you know, contributing great things. And I also read a very interesting article about it's a theory on marriage, but apparently there's a trend right now of older people getting divorced after being married for a long time. And that's because they've continued to grow and change. And some of them are making the choices, you know what, I really want to develop myself more, and my partner is going a different way or might not want that. So they choose to split because they're still growing and they want to grow. And some partners can reconcile that and some of them can't.
Yep, that's right. And I think we find, maybe stereotypically, I guess, but I think we find as people get older, you know, their ability to change, their ability to consider new ideas, willingness to, maybe more so than ability, you know, seems to really take a pretty deep dive. Some people really settle in. Other people, and maybe this is a reflection of the you know, growth of education, self-awareness, you know, stuff like that we've seen over the last 20, 30 years.
Mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Raising awareness on mental health. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I think we're seeing more, you know, I think we've seen that response. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And, you know, people, they get married up until, like, they get married in their 90s now, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like you have to have your life set by 40, which is kind of the goods I was sold in school. Like
Yep.
that's just, you had to have everything settled and figured out by 40. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm 37. And then I realized they sold me a lie. That's just not the way the world works.
That is exactly right. So, good for realizing that. Thank you for calling in with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really important point.
Oh. Thank you for letting me share that. I'm glad that my counseling could just roll over into this discussion.
What do you know? Real world applicability. There you go. Awesome.
Woo!
Thanks, Adria.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. All right. Hope I'm not butchering her name too hard there. And, okay, good. We have Travis. I see you on hold, and we are going to get to you, but we got a couple things we have to do first, which is namely 7Cam again.
Looking right at us now.
Of course he is. All right. Let me copy this.
Not moving, though. He's just staring straight ahead. It's a little weird and off-putting.
Yeah, he just stared right at the camera there.
Yeah.
And 24-hour stream. All right. So good. There's our final check-in with 7, and I took advantage of that little moment there to link in the 24-hour stream that Manda referred to earlier that they're doing the fundraising for. So I put that in the notes there too. Yeah, this topic is popping. This is actually really cool because I was afraid nobody was really going to be too interested in this one. So I'm very, very happy with the response on this. Here's kind of what I wanted to say about this real fast, and then we'll get to Travis, and then we will move toward wrapping up. I wanted to say that it has been very revelatory to me to start thinking about my younger self and how I used to think and how I used to act and the pure arrogance, the conceit with which I approached the world based on the very small amount of information about the world that I had. And then I thought about stages of development, and I thought about brains, and I thought about critical thinking, and I thought about a lot of things. And I because you can use this kind of information or this kind of view about a thing as a way to invalidate or deride or degrade young people. A bunch of conceited, arrogant assholes, fuck them all, kind of thing, right? You really get nasty about it. Or you can look at it as a point of understanding, right? We have been at a certain age, you've been where they were.
Right.
They haven't been where you are.
Exactly.
And I got the okay boomer thing today. I had somebody throw that at me on social media, right? I said something. I said, I don't agree with this thing. Okay, boomer.
But you're not even close to being a boomer.
Exactly.
But
I'm not even a boomer, right? But this is the expression, right? You get these throws of contemptful, oh yeah, like what you're talking about, Mr. Old Person. It's this whole the we're gonna blame the older generation for all of the woes of the younger generation because look what you set up for us. You failed, and now we're set up to fail. Now we have to make up for all the crap you did. Blah 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 blah. Just the generation wars that occur. And I thought maybe this might also be a way to ask a question or get people thinking along this line that might raise tolerance and understanding and compassion. Like, oh, I remember how I used to be, right? And so I can sit here and say, yeah, at 20 years old, I would have hated myself now. I really would have. My values have totally changed. I'm really a different person. And yet I don't hate my 20-year-old self at all, And I was a dork. I was a dick. I was everything you want to say. I was not a nice guy. But I have learned, and I have learned from that, and I've grown and changed. And I think that's what's the important part. So let's talk to Travis. Hey, Travis.
Greetings, Chris.
Hey.
Greetings. Hello, Melissa.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Hope y'all are having it's going all right. Hope y'all are having a good evening.
We are. It's going a lot better now. I was really stressing at the beginning of the show, but show's gone really smooth, and this has been fun talking to people. So There
No,
you
you
go.
had my hopes up. I thought you were saying it's better now that I called, but
Travis, it's always better when you call. What are you talking about?
yeah, just put it on the glass, friend. Okay. I got a Scientology-related topic as per usual.
Yeah.
First, let me ask: did you go through, Chris, when you were in Scientology? Did you go through the Flag Executive Briefing course?
That's a great question. I did not. I supervised people on the Flag Executive Briefing course. And for, if you don't mind, I'll say real fast. Am I stealing any thunder by telling people what it is?
No, I was about to ask you to please describe it for not only me, but for the audience as well.
Excellent. Okay, so the Flag Executive Briefing course is basically a series of lectures and issues that Hubbard wrote in 1970, 71, 72 time period. And it is considered the highest level of executive training that a Scientology executive, whether they're a Sea Org member or not, it's the highest level of executive training you can get in Scientology. It's the quote-unquote Class 8 course of executives, is how they put it.
Okay, who gets that training? I mean, you supervised it, so you know who up and down the line not only qualifies but is sent to do that.
Well, at this point, nobody. The Flag Executive Briefing course hasn't been delivered in years. It's one of those relegated, trash dumped sort of things that will eventually get revived after Miscavige has kind of gone through it with a fine-tooth comb and taken out all the stuff he doesn't want. And that's kind of what I believe that's what he's doing with Scientology right now. It was delivered to Scientology staff and Sea Org staff, executives or executives in training. And you would have to first do what's called the Organization Executive Course, or the OEC course. And that is, if you get a picture, if anybody wants to Google this, you get all the green volumes of Scientology. They're literally green books. And those are all the policy books. And there's a 0 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those 8 books are the totality of the Organization Executive Course. Those are the course packs. You read every issue. So it's a big course. It's thousands of pages and hundreds of drills. There's lectures. It's a big deal. It would take somebody about a year on training to get through the OEC and then do the FEBC.
Oh, okay, so it's a two-parter.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a two-parter.
Okay. What I want to ask you about is the Flag Executive Briefing course is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is supposed to prep the student to be a super manager.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, specifically, I wanted to ask about the follow-up policy to that, which is the FEBC graduate policy that came out in May of 1971.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you ever read that?
You'll have to remind me. There are a few policies that can be called that. So what are you referring to?
It's the HCO policy letter from the 5th of May in 1971, and it's the FBC graduate policy. It's the first one.
Okay.
And some of the bullet points are that anyone graduating is expected to go back to the org and apply the quote-unquote technology 100%.
Yep.
And that the results are expected to be a boom in the organization, raising stats within a couple of weeks. I mean, it literally says these things, black and white.
That is correct. I think you are supposed to have, I don't know if it says it in that policy in terms of the boom, but it's supposed to be 3 times. You're supposed to 3x the statistics. So if you guys were producing, 2 completions a week, it should get up to 6, like immediately, and then just be a rocket ride from there.
Okay. And so we're looking at a sharp upward trend on the graph.
Yeah.
And it actually goes to, it says there are no exceptions and at all, and that if somebody fails, they're going to get recalled to flag base immediately. or relatively close to immediately.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that's right.
Hey, good. So, wrote this down accurately. Now, my ultimate question here is, how much of a crazy-making experience was this for people in the Sea Org when you were in and instructing and guiding people along this path?
As you would expect. I mean, here you have Hubbard presenting the OEC and the FEBC as these master-level executive training courses, and no one goes back and booms their org after they do these things. They were supposed to go in teams. That didn't happen for the most part. In a few cases it did, but they were, it was usually just 1 or 2 people who would go do the training, because that's all that the org could spare to send off for, expensive long-term executive training anyway. And they usually were not sending their best and brightest, by the way, because the best and brightest they had were the ones who were keeping the damn doors open. So they couldn't afford to send them. So they had to send some greenhorn, right? And this would be a problem, because then you had people doing this high-level training who had never actually done any work in an org. So that was interesting to try to train those people to become master executives, So there's a lot of range in there, but it was pretty nuts.
So, I was reading through this document, and it says basically that you have to go in and immediately start booming, which now I know means 3 times the statistics, almost immediately. Well, okay, so they want you to use bogus technology that's already screwed up and dysfunctional in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then they expect you to grow the statistics by 3 times. And then when you fail, which is obviously going to happen, then the postulant gets blamed and you get browbeat over it and then have to go back to flag base and get yelled at some more.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a cycle that's been going on since 1971.
Well, is that a cycle that you had to go through in some shape, form, or fashion as well?
I did, but not as an FEBC. I went through that as a course room supervisor, because I was one of the most highly trained course supervisors on the planet. I did special training for it, along with others. I'm not saying I was some, special butterfly. I'm just saying I did the highest level training you could do for that. And I did it a number of times. And if I screwed up, I'd have to go back down to LA and get what's called a cram. And that's not usually too bad. But if you get repeated corrections, then they start wondering about your ethics, and then they want to hear your confessions, and then they start digging in, because remember, in Scientology, it's not about the situation. It's not about the organization. It's about the people. And it's about making them wrong. Because it's them who are causing all the problems. It can't ever be the policy. It can't ever be the structure of the organization. So it tends to be dog eat dog in that culture.
And I hate to say this, but it sounds to me like this is a one-way ticket to mental health problems, dealing with this kind of stuff on a regular basis. And I'm not belittling anybody.
Yeah, it is.
It's no wonder you take a rather easygoing, live and let live attitude now, after having put up with this type of crazy-making insanity for so many years.
Well, I'll tell you, that's been the recovery process, man. I mean, I was pretty tightly wound when I got out. I'm a lot chiller now, but it's taken a lot of work. You're looking at me right now after 8.5 years of almost daily work of some kind or another on myself, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it takes a lot to undo that crap.
Well, I think that you're doing fine, and the opportunity to engage with callers in this show perhaps not only helps the callers learn, but is potentially therapeutic for you as well, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. That's been the point of my channel from day one. You guys have been helping me more. I'll say as much as, I don't know if I want to say more, because I've heard some amazing things from some of the stuff I've done, and it's been just so heartwarming and frankly awesome. I mean, I reach people in ways I just don't even imagine, and then I hear about it later, But that being said, you guys, even you, Travis, I mean, every one of you guys out there has been part of my recovery. So that's part of the process too.
Well, good job. Pet Seven the cat and hug your wife, and thanks for taking my call. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Travis. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it. All right. Let us move on here. Okay. Got one other call in the queue, and I'm going to take it because this is interesting, I think. Hello, you are on.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. It's actually Christian all the way from Denmark.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Well, welcome to the show. Hi,
Yeah.
Christian.
Thank you so much. A couple of years ago, I asked you a question on your Q&A. It was about my now ex-boyfriend. He was a Jehovah's Witness when I met him. And you gave me a great advice back then about having to talk to him about his experience within Jehovah's Witnesses and how he would get out of there and all those sorts of things. And we're not together anymore, but he has come out on the other side and he is so much more happy. And he has finally learned to accept himself and to become his true oneself. And I just want to thank you to actually help him to become his true self.
Awesome. Thank you. And good job on taking what I said and using it effectively. Good job. That's because that's the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great deal. And the worst part was actually that his father was an elder. I don't know exactly how it works in Jehovah's Witnesses, but yeah, he had been through some rough times before he actually came out and he could truly escape it. And I actually ended up, I'm studying law, so I ended up helping him through that to break truly free from his parents, to get his own place and to not rely on them any way, shape, or form financially.
Perfect. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, good job, man. And thanks so much for calling and telling me. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
And it's been a couple of years. I believe it's all the way back in 2018, I believe so. I wrote the question in the Q&A, and I remember clearly there was another person in the comment section who wrote, "Just run from it." And I was like, no. You know what? I'm actually going to take this on me, because he was so sweet and he was, just so lovable. And I was like, you know what? I actually think I could help him, because I was 100% within, like, I totally knew who I was. So I knew that I had the extra space in my life to help him. And it just ended up being such a great thing for him. And he's so happy for that today, even though that we aren't together anymore. But
awesome. Well, all right, man. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you. How cool. How cool is that?
Wow.
Instant job satisfaction. I got the best job. I swear to God, I really do. I mean, it's just the most heartwarming stuff.
Definitely.
I mean, when I hear back from people on stuff that I've thrown out there, it's just awesome.
It makes you feel good.
It definitely does. It definitely does make me feel good. Okay, and Alex, I saw your note, and you are absolutely right. I should get Mick West on, and I will see about doing that. Thank you for that super chat. I definitely saw that. Okay, so that all being said, I have not yet watched the Pacman interview with Rinder. I like David Pacman. I've been on his show, and he's pretty cool. He and I share values. I don't see everything eye to eye with him. He's more left than I am, but I like him. He's a good guy. He's honest, and the thing that I like about him is he makes what is clearly an honest effort to ferret out and truth and be forthright. I really want to get it out there, and I appreciate that about him. I like his show. Okay, and how old were you when I started my YouTube channel? Oh my God. Well, I would say I'm 51. I got out the 2001. My maths suffer. You're just gonna have to wait for a second. How old was I in 2000?
What year?
Well, what was it that I got out? 13, so 43? Yeah, I would have been 43, I think, that year.
Yeah, well, you would have been going
43, 44. 44. I'll say 44.
Yeah.
That was when I started my channel, because I started in 2014. All right, so we're going to wrap up with our cards as usual. I know we're running a little later than usual. Not that this is like a timed hour show. We just kind of try to get around that. I'm happy to go 2 hours if people keep calling in. I mean, quite honestly, but I'll have to talk to Mel about that first. Okay, so let us do the critical thinking cards. And by the way, just for fun, I did reach out to the company that produces these. I emailed them and asked them if they would be interested in sponsoring this show, just because they have other products I'd love to kind of pimp for them that are critical thinking type products.
Ooh.
And I just love these cards. So, okay, baby, pick a card, any card.
Bystander effect.
Okay, bystander effect. You presume someone else is going to do something in an emergency situation. You assume somebody else. It's bystander effect. And this is a bias. This is a cognitive bias. When something terrible is happening in a public setting, we can experience a kind of shock and mental paralysis. If there's an emergency situation, presume to be the one who will help. That's interesting. I did not realize that was a cognitive bias.
I could see that, people driving past an accident or something and just being like, oh, the cops will show up or someone else will call them or.
Exactly. Unless they're Tom Cruise. And if Tom Cruise drives by an accident, he knows he has to do something about it because he's the only one who can. Just check out Tom Cruise's turtleneck video if you want to know where that came from. Okay, guys, thank you for being part of the show here this week. Thanks for participating. Thanks for liking the show. Thank you very much for those of you who are supporting the show. Really, really appreciate it. You guys are the ones who literally are keeping these lights on and probably helping me replace my laptop or fix my battery or whatever. I'll figure out what that problem is with that, get it fixed. You guys are awesome. And tomorrow you are going to see a podcast post about Avatar. Not the movie. Not the blue people. Avatar, the Scientology splinter group. Okay, it's the first time I've got an interview with somebody who is, as we put it in the podcast, downstream of Scientology. This is a group that somebody named Harry Palmer, yeah, that's his name, Harry Palmer. He started, he broke from Scientology and he started Avatar, and it's batshit nuts. And I have a great interview with a woman who just got out of this in November and is already, she's been on Rachel's show, she's speaking out, she reached out to me and we did an interview. So you'll see that tomorrow, and then you'll see regular critical Q&A on Sunday. Mother's Day, by the way, so don't forget to call your mom. Okay. That all being said, thanks, guys, and let's go ahead and wrap up.